What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a human-in-the-loop sales agent that responds to your emails by creating a simple workflow in any agent. So let's get started. In Airtable, I've created a database that I've renamed to AI Sales Agent Base. In this base, I've created a table that I've renamed to Sales Emails Table. We're going to add the name of the client, the email address, the company name, their project description, and the timeline of the project to our table. I'm going to assume that this client just sent us this email. They're interested in setting up some AI automations. And the project description could be the interested in setting up a client onboarding, payment invoicing, and content creation automations. Here you can create an automation that extracts the client email and adds their data to our base right here. We're going to start by triggering our to get the record of these clients over here with their details. So I'll search for Airtable, click on Airtable, and here I'm going to click on new Airtable event. Here you'll need to create a credential by clicking on create new credential. Then here, choose access token, and then add your access token right here from your table. Get your access token, click on your profile, then click on build a hub. Yeah, click on create new token to create your personal access token. Give it a name right here. And then here add the scope. You can choose to add all these scopes right here. Come and remove them later on. Right here. Yeah, for the base, choose all current and future bases in all current and future workspaces, and click on create token. After creating your token, copy it, and then come and paste it right here and click on save to create your connection. Since I had already created my credential, I'm going to choose my credential right here, or poll times, and choose the mode as every minute, and then choose every hour, every day, every week, every monthly, or customize it. I'm going to choose every minute. Here, you can choose our base by ID or URL. Here, I'm going to choose by ID. Then on our base, I'm going to copy the unique ID to this base right here. Copy it, and come and paste it right here. Should start with app. We'll do the same with table. We're going to add it by ID. Should start with table. So in your table, I'm going to copy the unique ID to our table right here. Here, the field that we're going to trigger is the name field. Just to add other fields right here, but I'm just going to leave the name field and then click on fetch test. It says field name does not exist. Yeah, you can see our name starts with a capital N. So here, we're going to change it to capital N and then click on fetch test. I can see we're fetching our client's information. We're fetching their name, email, company name, project description, and the timeline of the project right here. Now we can set up an AI sales agent. This is a sales agent that will be responsible for replying to our clients. So if we receive an email and then we extract the email and add the email's data to our Airtable right here, we're going to proceed to write a response to our client using an AI sales agent. So here, I'm going to search for AI agent, then click on AI agent. Here, I'm going to choose to define below and add the prompt right here. We're going to start by defining our client's information. So I'll click on expression, and then here I'll expand this. Here, we're going to add the client data. For example, you can add their name. Should be this name right here. Email. Drag the email right here. Company name. Drag their company name right here. Project description. I'm going to drag the project description right here. And timeline. Then we're going to drag the timeline right here. So awesome. Here we can also add a system message. I'm going to click on expression and then expand this. The prompt could be on the lines of, you're a skilled salesperson representing an agency that specializes in delivering top-tier automations. Your role is to respond to inbound clients by addressing their needs in a professional and compelling way. You'll be provided with client details, including information such as their name, email, company name, project description, timeline, and more. Your task is to craft a concise, persuasive email that positions us as the leading AI agency in the market. The email should focus on securing a follow-up call. Your goal is to assure the lead or the client that we fully understand their vision, can deliver on the project they describe, and will exceed the expectations. And here we're going to add our current date and time. Here we'll require a specific output format. And here click on output parser. Here we'll click on the structured output parser right here. I'm going to choose to generate from a JSON example. We're going to paste the JSON right here that basically tells our AI agent to output only the subject line and the body of our email right here. And here I'm going to click on back to canvas. Then we're also going to add a chat model right here. I'm going to use OpenAI. Here, like we did with Airtable, you also need to create a new credential from your OpenAI API find your API key and come and paste your API key right here and click on save to create your new credential. I'm going to choose GPT 4.0 mini, but you can choose it any of these other models right here. And then I'll click on back over here. So here I'll rename this to AI Sales Assistant and click on rename. Now to test if our agent works, here I'll click on test workflow. Giving us an error over here. So let's open this node. So the model does not fit the required format. Oh, okay. So the output parser, here we're not going to generate from a JSON example. Instead, we're going to choose to define it below. And here I'm going to copy our JSON. Now I'm going to go back to Canvas and then test our workflow again. See it ran successfully. Here we're outputting our subject line and our email body over here, which is exactly what we wanted. So our AI sales assistant is writing emails for us from the client data that we added on our Airtable. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to send ourselves this email for us to approve the email. So here we're going to start by setting a field. So I'll click on edit fields here. We're going to set our email. I'm going to rename it to set email response and click on rename. And here I'll add a field. I can name this as email. And then here for the value, we're going to drag our email body over here. And then click on test tab. You can see now we're outputting our email that we just created using our sales assistant. Now we can choose to wait a few seconds before we send ourselves the email for us to approve. 5 seconds is perfect. And here click on back to Canvas. And here we can now send ourselves the email. So I'll search for Gmail. Click on Gmail. And then here I'll send a message and wait for response. And execute previous nodes right here. So we can get the email that we just generated right here using our sales assistant. Now, to this email, we're going to send it to ourselves. For example, here I can add my own email address to approve this email. Subject line could be on the lines of email approval for, and then we can add the name of our client right here. Now, for the body of our email, we'll click on expression and expand it right here. So here we're basically notifying ourselves that the email response to a specific client has been generated and we need to approve it. So here we're basically saying our client from their company name is looking for customized information in this timeline, provide feedback on the message generated by our sales assistant. And then here we are going ahead and outlining our email with the subject line and the email right here. So here you can see it's not signing off. You can add the sign off. So back to Canvas, I'll go back to our AI assistant, we'll open our AI assistant. And here I'll include the sign off as. So here we're going to tell you to sign off as address events from high-level automations. And I'll click on back to Canvas right here. To test our workflow, I'll click on test workflow. Got our email, we generated an email response right here. We set it using this node right here, and we waited for 5 seconds, and then we send ourselves an email. The email that our AI agent generated over here for us to approve the email. Here, we can see the email address that we're sending to ourselves for us to approve. Here's the subject line of the email, and here is the body of our email. Signing off as Edward, high-level automations. To approve it, just click on approve. And you can see we approved our email right here. Now here on this node, I'll open this. And then for the response type, I'm not going to choose approve. I'm going to choose free text. So we can give our AI assistant feedback in case we like the email to be redone. And then here I'll click on test tab. And see it sent the email then for us to approve. So I'll click on respond. And here we'll give it a response like approved. And click on submit. You can see now it's going to send the email that we generated using our AI assistant, our AI agent. Here, I rename this to wait for feedback. And click on rename. Here, you can either approve or decline the email that our agent generated for us over here. Now, to classify our feedback, I'm going to use a text classifier. click on text classifier over here. And the text I would like to classify is this response over here. Here, we're going to add a category for our text classifier. The first category will be approved. Then add the description for this category right here. So I'll click on expression and then expand this right here, where the description could be in the lines of the email has been reviewed and approved without any requested edits. The user can clearly indicate that no revisions is necessary. Then here we're also going to add approval phrases and then list them down right here. For example, perfect as is, good to go, no edits needed, happy with this, that works, fine by me, looks great. So this could be the description for the approved category. We can also add another category for the disapproved category and name this category as disapproved and add this description right here. So I'll click on expression and expand this to write the description. The description for this category could be on the lines of the email has been reviewed and the user has requested changes before it's sent. It might involve edits such as rewarding, trimming content, adjusting tone, or making substantial revisions. And here we're going ahead and listing phrases that indicate revisions are needed. For example, let's clean this up a bit. Could use a few adjustments. This needs a second look. Feels a little off. We should fine tune this. Not quite yet the direction I had in mind. Some parts needs reworking. Can we make this more impactful? Doesn't feel aligned yet. Let's make the language sharper. Not polished enough to send. Could use more clarity. So these are the phrases that indicate that we need to revise our email response. So I'll click on back to Canvas right here. We're going to add our chat model. We're going to use OpenAI again. And here we can rename this to text classifier model and click on rename. Click on back to Canvas. And now we can test if our node will classify our feedback. To do that, I'll click on test workflow. You can see our sales agent is generating our email. Then we're waiting for 5 seconds to send ourselves the email. And then we're going to give feedback. And this classifier node will classify whether the email has been approved or disapproved. The email that was generated by our sales agent with the subject line and this email content right here. So to approve this email, I'll click on respond. And here we can say approved and click on submit. And you can see that our email was approved over here. So when we open this, you can see it is in the approved branch. Text is approved. Now that we have approved this email, we can here. I'll wait for a few seconds to send the email to our leads. So here I'll say wait 5 seconds. Wait 5 seconds. Click on rename. And here I'll click on back. Now we can send this email to our leads. So I'll search for Gmail. Click on Gmail. Then here I'll click on send a message. Here I'll execute previous nodes. Here we're going to add our client's email with his email address right here since we're sending them the response. Subject line will be the subject line we generated more sales agent right here. The email we're going to choose text. Then add the message right here. So the email will be the email response over here. We're going to send to our client. I'll rename this to send email response. And then here I'll click on rename. And then here I'm going to click on test type to send our email response to our client, which is awesome. So here we got our client who we are sending this response email generated and the response using our agent right here. Then we waited for a few seconds to provide feedback on the generated email. And then after we approve the email, waiting for a few seconds to send the email response to our leads or client who are interested in our services. Now, if we disapprove the email, we'd like for our AI agent to rewrite the email again. On the disapproved branch, we'll add an AI agent that will be responsible for rewriting the email responses. So I'll search for AI agent and click on AI agent right here. I'm going to choose to define below. But first of all, here, I'll deactivate this so we can disapprove an email so we can set up our workflow. I'll click on test workflow. And then the feedback, we're going to disapprove our email. On the email, I'll click on respond. And then here we're going to disapprove. And then click on submit. Text classifier classified our response as disapproved. So now we can set up our email optimizer agent. So here I'll rename this to email optimizer. And then click on rename. We're going to add a chat model. We're going to use OpenAI chat model. We can rename this to email optimizer model. Click on rename. We're going to use GPT 4.0 mini here. Then here, I'll open this. Here for the prompt, we're going to start by defining our approved message and our email. We're going to start the email. We're going to add this email over here. Then we're going to add the feedback. The feedback will be this feedback right here. So either we approved it or disapproved it. Then here, we'll add another option and add this a system message. I'm going to click on expression and expand this right here. So the system prompt could be on the lines of, you're a professional email writing assistant. Your task is to revise incoming emails based on the feedback provided by the user. Here's the feedback submitted. Here we're going to add our feedback right here. Ensure the revised email is clear, professional, and aligned with the given input. We'll sign off as a Stevens, high-level automations. And here we're adding our current date and time over here. And then here I'm going to click on test tab to see it generate for us our email. You can see it generated for us another email right here after we disapproved this one, which is really awesome. We generated our email using the email optimizer agent. Here, we'll also set our email response. So I'll search for set, and then click on edit field over here. So here I'll add a field. You can say email, and add the value as this output right here. So here I'll rename this to set revised email response and click on rename. And then I'm going to click on back to canvas. And now, after we generated our email, we can send the email to ourselves to approve the email. And then after we approve the email, it will be classified as approved. Now we can send our email to our lead. We can add the email response that we're sending this client right here. So here, I'll add another field. And here we can add a long text and say email response as a field. And click on create a field. So here, I'll search for Airtable and click on Airtable. And here we're going to update a record. I'll rename this to save email response. Click on rename. Here we're going to choose our base, which is AI sales agent. And I'm going to choose our table, which is our sales emails table. Here we're going to fetch our columns for the ID. I'm going to add our ID from your table right here. The only thing I would like to update is the email response field. Right here. Then here I'm going to click on back to canvas over here. Now automation is pretty much set up. Let us try disapproving an email. So to do that, I'll click on test workflow. It's going to get our client's information and generate our email. You can see it's waiting for a few seconds. Then it's going to send us a notification for us to approve the email. Here's the email that it generated for us. Send to our client with the subject line. Here's the email content right here. To disapprove the email, I'll click on respond. Here we can say disapproved. And then click on submit. You can say disapproved our email. Generated another email. Then send us another notification with the new email that it generated for us. You can see another email that it generated for us right here. You can see this one was longer, and the one that it generated for us is a little bit shorter right here. So now this one we can approve it. So I'll click on respond and respond to approved, and click on submit. You can see here it waited for seconds and then send the email to our client. Then we're saving the response to our table over here, and this is the email response that we're sending to our client. Now let us test our entire workflow and see if it's working properly. We're going to start by approving our email and see if we're going to send our email to our lead. To test our workflow, I'm going to click on test workflow, capture our client's information right here. We generated an email response for them. Here we're waiting a few seconds and then sending the response to us for us to approve their email. This is the email that it generated for us that we would like to send to our client, the subject line and this email content. To approve the email, I'll click on respond, and here I'll say approved. and click on submit. You can see right here, the response that we generated right here was classified as approved, and we waited for 5 seconds and sent the email response to our client. We also updated our record with the email response over here. As if our workflow will regenerate our email after we disapprove it over here. Yeah, I'll click on test workflow. It's generating our email response right here, waiting a few seconds, and then it's going to send us a notification for us to give feedback. This is the email that it generated for us. Here with the subject line, this email content. To respond, I'm going to click on respond. And here, I'm going to say disapprove. I'm going to disapprove this email and click on submit. Our email was classified as disapproved. Then we generated a new email using our email optimizer agent and sent the email to us for us to approve the email. And this is the new email that it generated for us over here. Here, now to approve this email, I'll click on respond. And now we can approve it. And then I'll click on submit. You can see we approved it. You can see it was classified as approved. Then we send the email to our clients, and then we updated our record on Airtable with a new email response. Now this is the email that we're sending to our clients. So our workflow works perfectly. Here we're getting clients data that we extracted from an email they sent us. Then we're generating an email response for them using our AI sales assistant right here. Here we're setting a variable for the email response. Then we're sending the email response that we generated using this assistant via email for us to approve the email. And then if we approve the email, we are classifying it as approved and then waiting for a few seconds and sending the email to our client and then saving the response to a field on Airtable. If we generate an email response for our client using our sales assistant right here and then send the email to ourselves to either approve or disapprove the email, if we choose to disapprove it, the email is going to be classified as disapproved, and then we're going to generate another email using our email optimizer agent right here. And then after regenerating the email, we're going to set a variable for the revised email response and then send the new email to ourselves for us to approve the email. And then if we disapprove the email again, it's going to be set as disapproved, regenerate the email again, and then send to us for us to approve the new email. If we approve the new email, we're going to wait a few seconds and send the email response to our client and save the email response to our field on Airtable using the simple workflow that we've created with N8N. Thank you for watching. Now, if you have a workflow or an AI agent that you'd like for me to create using N8N, just comment down below in the comment section. If I land on your comment and I find it intriguing, I'll come back on a future video showing you how to create the entire workflow or AI agent from scratch using N8N. But for now, thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.